She kind of planted the seed in me that you're alive, but my daughter's not. And it's because you're alive that my daughter's not. So I'm going to do everything in my power to make your life a living hell. My mother, before I was even conceived, she had cancer, and she apparently had it pretty bad. No one really talked about her cancer, so I couldn't even tell you what kind she had. The doctors pretty much told her, say, look, don't get pregnant. Whatever you do, you're in remission right now, you're healthy. If you get pregnant, there's a good chance it could be fatal for you and the baby. But she got pregnant and she got really sick with me. I didn't even make it the full 9 months. I was in an incubator for I don't know how long, just trying to survive. I was underweight, and my mother was just getting sicker and sicker. So I'm not even sure if we even had any moments together in those 3 months that she was alive after I was born. But she did die 3 months later, and my foster mother took on the responsibility of raising me, if you want to call it that. My foster mother is technically my grandmother, my maternal grandmother. She was my mother's mother, and I do not call her grandmother because I feel that grandmother kind of has a positive connotation towards it. And there's a lot of things associated with being a grandmother that I feel that my foster mother didn't have those attributes. So I do not refer to her as grandmother. Everyone looked at her like, oh, this is so sweet. This woman, took in this orphan and who lost his mother, and she's so sweet, and she's in the church, and, she's this and she's that. And, it kind of went through her head, and she didn't want to lose the respect of her peers, which I can understand as an adult myself. But when we did meet in the house, she would go to her room, turn on Oprah, and I would go to my room. I didn't have kids to come over to play with me. It was just me in my room. And, and that's just pretty much how my life has been since. I felt like it was my fault. I'm doing something wrong. I'm not good enough. I'm just not good enough for her to love me. What do I have to do to get her to love me, and to want to have me around? I later found out she was getting paid by the state to take care of me. I remember her calling me an abomination. I remember that lingering for a long time. I remember her once telling me, you don't have any friends. No one's ever going to like you. They're just pretending to like you. They're just going to use you for whatever they can get from you. No one's ever going to love you. You're worthless. You're nothing. All these were the things, messages I was receiving, as a child growing up. Sure, I'm hearing that I'm special and that I'm smart and I'm creative and talented from teachers, but they're teachers. This is my guardian. This is the person that's supposed to protect me and care for me. And she's telling me that I'm nothing and that I'm never going to amount to anything. And so I have to believe her. And so sure, I developed this narrative in my mind that, yes, she's telling me the truth. Why would she lie to me? She just made me feel like I didn't deserve to be there. I do remember once asking her, why do you hate me? And this is a much older me, still not teenage me, but a much older, younger me. And I was just thinking, why do you hate me? And I don't even think she answered. I don't think, because I asked her so directly and called her out on it. She put on a good show though. No one suspected that any of what went on in that apartment went on. Everyone thought we just had this loving relationship because I was pretty much a good kid. I didn't act out. I was caring and pretty much joyful, when I was around other people that encouraged being joyful. I needed to hear people say, I like you, Antonio. I needed people to want me for something, and how that played out was that people, they preyed on that. They saw that I was generous. I would give because I'm thinking maybe if I give people things, and do things for them, maybe they'll like me. And I wanted people to like me, because I felt that I was unlikable. At least that's what my foster mom was telling me. And unfortunately, a lot of her prophecies came true. A lot of people used me for the things that I could do for them and can get for them and can give them. And, which only reinforced what she had said and implanted in my mind. And so that was tough. One thing I can say is that it made me place myself below people perpetually. Like I always felt that I was less than everyone. My self-worth when was nothing. Like I felt that I was nothing. Like I let people walk right all over me. I was bullied, all the time, picked on, called names. And I would run to her, telling her these things. And I guess she was giving me the best advice she could give, but it wasn't comforting, it was more like she was on their side, but still I gave a lot of myself. I remember I would share my lunches with people. I think I'm one of the few people that can actually say they've literally given the shirt off of their back to someone else, and all of this only to be used against me. I remember walking home from school, and these bullies were just coming at me, just coming at me. And I just kept saying, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And I was and with such conviction, like I believed it, and like I just took everything they gave me, and I didn't fight back. I turned the other cheek, and I just kept it moving. And people knew that about me. Antonio's not going to fight. He's not going to fight. He's a wimp. He's nothing. We can pick on him as much as we want to. And again, I felt that I deserved even that. Maybe I did something or could have did something differently or acted differently or behaved differently or dressed differently or I don't know what to make more people want to be my friend and want to like me, because I thought I was a pretty decent person. There is a lot more evil in the world than I had thought when I was younger, and I wasn't prepared for it. I believe I said earlier that my dad was absent. I did see him intermittently throughout the year, like on holidays. It wasn't until recently that I was able to connect the two together. But right after that period, that's kind of when I started having mental health issues. I started getting depressed more. As I got near to 13, I started cutting self-harm. I think my first attempt was around 14. This was all just because I felt that I was just no good for anyone. I was brought up in the church, so I was brought up to believe that, God loved everyone, but I couldn't understand why God was allowing certain things to happen to me. If I was a child of God, then why wasn't I being protected? It just made me feel really bad. That's when I started cutting, and that's when I tried to harm myself. And that's the first time I went into therapy for the first time, was in middle school. They put me in therapy, but my guardian, she stopped the treatment because she felt that what I needed was to do, and this is, I guess, a cultural thing, not so much as her being mean. She took me out of therapy. She wasn't going to approve it anymore, especially not approve any medication. She said I just needed Jesus. And she said I was going to go to hell. And even though I told her about what happened with the babysitter, She said that was my punishment for being born and that I deserved what happened to me. And so it just got to the point where I just felt that I didn't belong anywhere. I didn't fit in anywhere. My self-esteem was really low. My grades started slipping, started hanging out with the wrong crowd. It just took a turn for the worse. I don't want to vilify my foster mother, but she did some damage that I'm still trying to reverse. She planted seeds that have become core beliefs. I hear my voice saying her words. I've come a long way to be able to even talk about this now. Is definitely a long ways from where I was a few years ago. I have gotten much better, and I was in therapy for 20 plus years. I'm not in therapy now. I use apps that track my mood. I journal, writing my books, they help a lot. I try to surround myself or spend time around positive people, people who can be sort of reality checks because I feel that sometimes I get a little delusional in my beliefs that I'm nothing and that I'm no one and that I'm beyond help or that I'm worthless. And that's not reality. That's not true. I don't think that's true for anybody, no matter what they've gone through. Everybody's somebody. Everybody's worth something, and everybody's, deserving of a quality of life that would help them to be happy. Everyone deserves to experience that, even though I still go through my crap and, I still have my low moments and, you know, recovery is possible because I've seen it, I've been there where I've been thriving, where I've been working and I've been just doing all the things I need to do, exercising, eating right, getting enough sleep, you know, using different coping mechanisms, when I'm in stressful situations, doing different things that I know I worked in the past to get me through various situations with other people and working to improve myself so that I can be a better person every single day. I got out of my mother's body 3 months early so that she could die 3 months later. My life was spared, and it was spared for a reason. And that's something to be grateful for. I used to be so sad, oh, my mom died when I was 3 months, but had I stayed 3 months, I would have died with her, and both of us would have been gone. I'm grateful to still be here, and despite all my suicide attempts, through the years, I'm still here. But I do know that it's my choice. Some things are within my power, and I have to make a choice. What do I want, and take it from there. It might not happen right away. It might take a long time, but if you allow yourself to be healed, allow the possibility of healing. It can come. It can happen.